Golden State Warriors are in some real trouble. Like, let's just face it. I mean, from the beginning, even before the season began, they seemed like they were in real trouble, right? The whole Draymond Green, Jordan Poole issue. The Warriors have a lot of decisions on their hands. Guys that they need to keep, guys that they need to, get rid of. Their young guys really aren't stepping up to the plate as they had hoped. Right now, they are currently in the final spot for a play-in. If the playoffs started today, they would be the 10th seed, and they are currently sitting at 14 and 15 with a 2-game losing streak and not a real turnaround in sight, right? I mean, beyond just the drama and controversy that went on behind the scenes, the Warriors are just underperforming. They don't look like a championship contending team. They don't look like a very good team. Steph Curry has been trying and playing out of his mind this year. He has been really good this year. But outside of him, it's just kind of everybody else in spots, right? Like Klay's had some moments where he's looked brilliant and looked like the old school Klay. And then he looks like a Klay Thompson that, like, you can make an argument could be out of the league in a year, right? He's playing so poorly. And it's just rough to kind of see this Warriors that, is it the hangover? Is it the championship hangover? We see teams that happens to, right? Is it the injuries, right? Injuries have been a real problem, like Andrew Wiggins, Klay Thompson, now Steph Curry. Steph is injured. And we're seeing all these like significant injuries to this team. Is it a combination of everything? Which I think it is. I think it's a combination of just fatigue. I think it's a combination of just the locker room, Draymond Green. I think it's a combination of everything just kind of up in the air. Wiseman and that kind of issue is kind of just awkward. And it's like, he keeps going to the G League, but he doesn't really want to be there. And it's like, do the Warriors trade? Do the Warriors make a move? There's talks and rumors about maybe like a James Wiseman for like a Jakob Poeltl, which may actually be hugely beneficial for both teams, right? Give James Wiseman like an opportunity to go to a new place, get a fresh start, fresh look, kind of get back to just being developed in a team that doesn't really care, right? They would be more than happy to take on a young potential center for the future, especially if they get like Victor Wembanyama. Imagine having like Victor Wembanyama and James Wiseman as your front court for the next 10 years. It's a pretty good spot for the Spurs to be in. But beyond that, the Warriors really are going to have to start making, this season has shown one thing and one thing only. They need to start looking at other possibilities. Do they trade Draymond? Do they get rid of Draymond? Because Draymond, I imagine, is going to opt in next year. I don't see any team really giving him the max money like he wants. So if that's the case, he's probably going to opt in. So do they try to work out a deal to trade him and unload him? Do they try to unload and trade some of the young guys? I know some Warrior fans don't really want that, but I mean, none of the young guys are really performing up to the hype. And of course, they're young. They need to develop. That all takes time. But you have a window and a championship team, right? Don't you want to capitalize on that? Because those young guys may or may not ever develop into anything. And even if they do, let's say they do develop into great guys. Let's say Moses Moody does become a great player. Kuminga does become like a top 5, big man or, power forward, small forward in the league, right? He's really good. Wiseman becomes a top 5. There's still no guarantee that they fit, that they win a championship, that they do anything. I mean, we've seen lots of great teams never win, and right now, you have a team that is capable of winning because they literally just won a championship. So if you're the Warriors, what do? You're paying historic amounts of luxury tax, all because you have all these players that just, they're not delivering this year. And it's like, how long do you pay that? If you're winning a championship or you're at least, one of the better teams, then sure, you could justify that. But they're at this rate, they're not even going to make the playoffs because they're struggling winning with Steph. What's it going to look like when Steph's not there? Right? I mean, they need heroics from Steph on some occasions to actually win games. And now you're not going to have Steph Curry. Are guys going to be able to step up? Like King Klay and Andrew Wiggins and guys like that, can they stay healthy? This Warriors team, they could be on the, odds looking out and just in a very tough spot, a very tough position. And next year, you're going to have a lot of decision making. You're going to have a lot of choices that you're going to have to make. And I don't know what the answer is personally. That's going to be for Bob Myers and, the organization itself to kind of figure out what they're going to do. But there's even questions about, that. Is he going to leave? Steve Kerr, his contract, are they going to extend him? Or are they going to let him leave? Are the two of them going to go and try to, redo a new franchise, try to turn a new franchise around and kind of be known as the franchise revivers, and if those two guys became available, every team in the league would be trying to go after them, right? So it's like, it's going to be very interesting to see how things play out. And unless the Warriors turn it around, which, I mean, it's the Warriors. Look, the Warriors get into the playoffs, I'm not writing them off, right? I'm not saying that, like, the Warriors have no shot, no hope, no chance. But if they continue, like I said, continue in this trajectory, then they have no shot. They have no chance. They might not even make the playoffs. Like I said, injuries are a big part of that. Production is a big part of that. We're going to see what these young guys got with, like, pretty much everybody injured and out, and Steph missing weeks. If he misses 2-3 weeks, I mean, they might be too far behind. And then they got to go play in a play-in, and even if they are like the 9th or 10th seed, they have to win 2 straight games, and can't have, like, if another team just has like a lights out night, you can't control it. You don't have to be the better team. You just have to be the better team once, right? So, like, if they played Sacramento and Sacramento's just shooting the lights out, and like the Warriors the Warriors are playing like a normal game that they usually would win, but it's just like they're shooting too well. Or even if, like, you're just killing yourself, you got to play that extra game. And this is a team that just was in the NBA Finals, so they played more than anybody, and it's tough. It's a real tough spot for the Golden State Warriors to be in, and they're gonna have to turn it around sooner or later. I mean, they are towards the bottom of the standings in the Western Conference, and I mean, look, to be fair, everybody's kind of in the same spot. Like, the West is completely wide open, right? I mean, you have what, the Warriors are 5 games out of first place, and they're basically 2.5 games out of 6th place for a locked-in championship. So it's not like they're 10 games out of 6th place. It's not like they're so far and away removed that it's like, man, they would have to win 20 straight games to get back to playoffs, something like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a panic mode yet. It's not hit the eject button yet, but it's heading in that direction, right? I mean, you got this team that, like, is just they're struggling. They've struggled all year, and injuries are not in their favor. And now the one constant you've had all year is not going to play for a couple weeks, and all of a sudden that 2.5 games becomes 4.5 games, becomes 6.5 games, becomes all of a sudden you're 8 games out of 6th place, and you're like 5 games out of even a play-in spot, and you're 14th or 13th in the Western Conference, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, like we're in trouble here. Like, we're in trouble. And that's what the point that I'm trying to make, is like the Warriors are gonna have to do something. And I think that you gotta look, I think you gotta look at some trades. You gotta look at some moves. I think you gotta trade Wiseman. I know people don't want to trade Kuminga, Moody, and guys like that, but like, if you can get some real pieces to come in that you could have, like, if you could get Jakob Poeltl, like Josh Richardson, and Doug McDermott or something like that, or a combination or something. I think if you're the Warriors, you do that. It sucks. It would suck to lose some of your young guys, but this is a team that could still win now. Andrew Wiggins, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green healthy, those 4 guys are enough to win a championship. They proved it, right? And then you add Jakob Poeltl as your starting center. All right. You got probably one of, if not the best starting 5s in the league. And then if you could get, a couple bench pieces, 2 or 3 productive guys, like I said, a Josh Richardson, Doug McDermott, something like that, and you still have, Jordan Poole. So now all of a sudden, this team's, 8, 9 players deep. This team is a team to look out for. This team is not just Steph having to be the engine. You got a guy in Jakob Poeltl who could get you 15 to 20 a night. You got Jordan Poole who could go off for 30 on any night. You got Josh Richardson who could give you, another 15 a night. Like, you get Doug McDermott who could get you another 15 a night. You still have the other guys you have. Like, it changes the scope of this team, and I really think that they should look. The beauty is, this year, you have a lot of teams that are tanking for Victor Wembanyama. You have a lot of teams that want young pieces and have veterans that could help. So if you're the Warriors, if you can flip some of those young players into vets that could help you win now, why not? Like if you could win another, championship or two in the next like 2 or 3 years, go do it. As much as people love the young players, like young players are great, but there's no guarantee. As much as Kuminga could become the best player in the league, he could become a guy that's out of the league in a couple years. We've seen guys like that. We've seen guys that have all this talent, all this promise, just look really good. They have this moment of brilliance, and then they're completely out of the league. I mean, look at a guy like Michael Carter Williams. People thought he was the next big thing. Dude averaged almost a triple-double his rookie year. He had one of the best rookie years ever, and I was out of the league. Tyreek Evans, another guy. He's one of like 3 players in history that have averaged like 25, 5, and 5 as a rookie. Like the dude's like, and now look, where's Tyreek Evans? Right? Like, just because a guy looks good doesn't mean that he's going to develop into great things. And then you have guys that are, Draymond. Like, nobody thought Draymond was going to be anything. And look, he was the perfect piece, the perfect complement. All I'm saying is that you have this window. And if you could go and capitalize on this window, go capitalize on this window. Use this opportunity, because you're going to have teams having a legit fire sale, right? You're going to have teams that are going to want to unload guys for youth and young pieces. And, if you're the Warriors, you're already paying $1 billion in luxury tax. What's $1 billion in one? Just do what you got to do, especially if you win some championships. Obviously, they don't care about paying money. They just want to win. And right now, it's not looking like they're in a position to win. And Steph being out weeks because of the shoulder injury, like that's going to be tough. That's not a good position for the Warriors to be in. That's not what they had hoped would happen. And, no Steph, I don't see them winning a bunch of games. I mean, and maybe they do. Maybe they're able to kind of turn it around. Maybe they're able to get it right. Maybe everyone comes back and is healthy and they rattle off a couple wins, because they are capable of doing that, right? And again, they're not so far out of seeding that it's like impossible. They could easily turn it around. They could easily come back. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think the Warriors are in trouble? Do you think, nah, they're fine, it'll be all right? They'll struggle a little bit without Steph, but as soon as he comes back, they'll be off to the races. They'll figure it out. They're defending champions, all that stuff. Do you think no? It's exhausting. They have all this wear and tear. Guys are falling apart. It's time to make some changes. Some trades, whatever. However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, good, bad, ugly, somewhere in between. I'd love to hear them. So let me know down in the comment section below.